What's up, guys? Maniacs here. Now, this is weird, but you know what? I wanted to say this. Now, I'm sure you guys already figured out that I'm a huge anime fan, and going with that, I really like to read visual novels. I'm not huge when it comes to reading books or whatnot. I've always been into manga. That's why I've always read them since I was younger. And obviously, once I started to get my computer and everything, I discovered the whole world of visual novels, and I really like it. A lot of people put a lot of time into building these worlds and giving them pictures and all that stuff. I just think it's a little more interactive, and I think it's a little more fun to read because you actually have something more to look at other than just like a black and white image in a manga. Now, going with that, I own a ton of them on Steam. I bought a bunch of them because I enjoy reading them. It's cool. It's what I enjoy to do. And recently, within the past, I think it was like a month or so ago, let me look this up. You guys can probably tell what's going on from the title of the screen of the video itself. But this game came out on December 7th last year. Not even about a month ago, just over a month ago. And this game is called Major and Minor. Now, anybody who knows what this game is instantly deems it as, oh my god, it's a furry visual novel. No, it's not. Okay, yes, it is geared towards anthropomorphic animals and anthropomorphic people, I should say, which, by the way, is technically what they're called. This whole furry thing didn't actually start to rise up until the whole fucking My Little Pony thing started coming out years ago, and I don't even want to go into that. But seriously, people, what is the fucking big deal? I'm not saying that I'm a furry. I'm not, but I'm so sick and tired of seeing all of these comments from all these people. Like, there's tons and tons of like reviews of this game on Steam, and they're just one thumbs down after another. Okay, seriously, 90% of the people are saying, oh my god, this is geared mostly towards furries, and the first chapter of the story sucks. Okay, so this game is primarily going to be released over the next year. Every month there's going to be a new chapter released, and apparently there's going to be 12 chapters in total, including chapter 1. And chapter 1's already been out. It released when the game originally came out. And they said in the actual description of the goddamn game that each new chapter was going to come out roughly every month. They're going to try and get maybe 2 chapters out a month. And each chapter is only going to be roughly an hour to 2 hours long, depending on how long you read, how much you're invested in the story, and how much you really want to like pay attention to it. They said that in the description, okay? And then people have been shitting on the game like, oh my god, it was too short. Oh my god, the writing's terrible. Or, oh my god, it's not what they said. They said there was going to be choices that you could make and stuff like that. People, it's the first fucking chapter of the goddamn game. It's not going to have everything in it. If you really wanted to wait for all of the player choices or everything that you could do in the game, everything that they promised, which again, this game is an indie visual novel. It's getting made as we speak, so every month they're working on it. It's not like the entire thing's finished and they're releasing parts of it as they go out through the year. No, it's getting worked on at all the time. And these people are shitting on this game for no fucking reason. Like, oh my god, it's not as good as they said. You can't make choices. It's the first chapter. It might as well be the prologue of a fucking book. It's not going to be as long as all the other chapters. Hopefully the other chapters are longer. And it's not going to have everything in it that you can do. Like, when you read a visual novel, a lot of them, they'll allow you to make choices. You can make player choices and stuff like that. But a lot of them that are released, especially like the Sakura series by Sentai Project, who, great series, by the way, if you're into anime visual novels, they release all of their games at once because they have a huge team behind them. They have I don't know how big it is, but they have a team behind them working on them. This is only a couple people developing this game. I don't know how many people exactly, but it's only a couple of people working on it. So they're not going to be able to get it out as fast. Also, going with that, all of the backgrounds and everything in the game itself are all stock images you can pull from some site. I don't know exactly what site it is, but when it comes to the characters and their different like views and stuff like that, those characters are all hand drawn by somebody in the community. I think they're on a Fur Affinity or whatever, which is basically a deviant site for furries. I don't know, I'm just going by what the actual article says in the actual game, but you know, these people have to draw this stuff out. Now I think it's a girl, is what they've hinted towards. She's already gone through and drawn everything, but that doesn't mean they still have to write the story. I mean, this is an indie game, people. It's not a professional made game. These people are shitting on the writing and everything. Not everybody is fantastic at writing. Yes, I understand that they put this game on Steam and they're charging $10 for it. I understand that, but seriously, you can see in the screenshots what some of the dialogue is. You can also see in the goddamn trailer for the game what some of the dialogue is. And a lot of people were also shitting on the actual art for the game. They said, oh, the art sucks, or oh, the art looks like it's been drawn by a 12-year-old. Seriously, people, you can see you can see every single character in the actual trailer for the game. You can see some of the dialogue and some of the parts that you can do in the screenshots for the game. And you have pretty much everything right there in front of you before you buy the game, and yet they buy it and then turn around and bitch about all these different things. Like, why would you buy it if you can tell what the art style is going to look like? They even say what the art style looks like. Like, seriously, that is one of the things that's bothering me about this game, is these people turn around, they buy the game like they never even looked at any of the screenshots or any of the trailers, or the trailer itself. They never looked at any of that. They just bought the game outright, and then they turn around and bitch about the game not being up to their expectations. People, the full game's not out, still being worked on, and I don't think it's fair to the developers that you're shitting on their game for no reason. The game is more or less set up like a fan fiction in its own way, but that's what the game promotes. It tells you that more or less. If you can't comprehend that just by watching the trailer or reading the description, why would you buy it? Why would you just buy something that you don't know anything about? Like, seriously, when anybody buys a game, don't you actually look at the game and see, hey, maybe this is something I'll be interested in? No, not like, oh, I'm just going to go buy it because I don't know why not. I'm just going to buy it because it's there, and then I'm going to turn around and hate it because it's not up to my expectations. That's not fair. That's really not, because literally this game has, on the main page of it, it's nothing but negative reviews. And then there's this other dude that complains about spending like 2 hours of his life and complaining about the writing. Okay, this game is set up, again, like a fan fiction, and it's, again, made by indie developers. What's the big deal? Like, can you seriously sit down and write out the story in perfect, like, fucking Nietzsche-style writing? No, you can't, okay? I'm not shitting on, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but you can see the writing in the screenshots, you can see the writing in the goddamn trailer. Why would you look at that and say, oh, yeah, I'm still gonna buy it, and then turn around and bitch about it? That's your fault. You bought the game. You have no reason to write a fucking essay review on this game about how badly it sucks because you don't like it. That's your fault for buying the game before you actually read into it and looked into how the game is going to be set up. He also bitches about the character kind of breaking the fourth dimension in his own way. I'm actually going to do a Let's Play in this. You guys are going to see it after this video, so if you guys know what I'm talking about. In the game, there's a point towards the beginning where the player actually kind of makes a joke about a pun that he made. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, why would you do that? That's just stupid. That's just lame. No, it's not. A lot of people actually do that in writing. I used to do it a lot when I was in school. It's voicing the character itself. How this game is set up is more or less what I can tell from the writing is, like, whenever I wrote a paper, whenever I wrote a story, whenever I had to write something for school, I always wrote it in the sense that I was just speaking it. In that sense, that's how I wrote it. So whatever was basically on paper was more or less how I would say it. And yes, I would kind of say it out loud as I was typing it up. That's just how I used to write. And a lot of people write like that because it makes sense. Because if you write something up and then you read it back out loud, and you fumble, then you know there might be something wrong with it. But when people write something, a lot of times they'll say it as they're writing it, as if they were just saying it in like a speech or whatnot. So that's how this game more or less is written. And these people are shitting on that. Like, don't hate on them for that. Plus, again, this is only chapter 1. There's still 11 more chapters after this. Why are you shitting on it? I don't know. It just bothered the hell out of me. It really did. Like, this game does not deserve this big bad rap. And yes, like a couple days ago, the actual Steam page or for the game itself, and one of the developers' name is Clace. He's actually a character in the game itself, and my guess is this probably is his story, and he got a group of people together to make this game. So, and then there's all these other people that are bitching about, oh, why did Clace put his main character in the game? Why is he like the main character in the game? Why wouldn't he? He's got a pretty cool name, I'll give him that. Clace, I've never heard of that name, but that's honestly a pretty cool name compared to like every standard day names. And yes, he does have his character in the game, and yes, he's a big part of the game, but why wouldn't he? I'm guessing, this is a complete guess, I have no idea, I wasn't told any of this, I'm just going off of what I can read from the game's page. I'm guessing this must be his story, and why wouldn't he want to put himself in a game? If somebody develops a game like this, and they're into it, and they're really, like I should say, passionate about it, why wouldn't they want to put themselves in the game? Why not? I think that's kind of creative in its own way. If you can build a character and build a story around this game and around this character, and it just happens to have your name, why not do that? Like anybody would. If anybody was building, say I was building, I don't really know, if I was building my own visual novel, I would probably have a character in the game that it might not have my name because my name sucks. I mean, he's got a pretty cool name, Clace, compared to Tyler. Come on, seriously, there's no comparison. But like, he's got a cool name, so why not use it? Like, seriously, what is wrong with that? Anybody that builds a game, why wouldn't they want to put their name in it somewhere? That's kind of cool in its own way. And if you can build a story for that particular character, why not? Because he had to sit down and create that character and create everything about it and how everybody's going to interact with that specific character. So why not build that into it? It's so frustrating. Like, these people are just shitting on it, and they're a lot of the time, the main point of it is, oh my god, it's about furries. Come on, people, what the fuck is the problem with them? I've got no issue with people. It irritates me. Like, people just look at it and they say, why is that? That's weird. Okay, what the hell are they doing that's so terrible that's hurting you? And they usually got nothing. Or their response will be like, oh, well, it hurts me to look at them. Fuck you. Seriously, what is wrong with that? Okay, what if somebody came in and you were really passionate about something, you like something, like say you like to work on cars, somebody walks in and tells you to go fuck yourself and that's stupid and why are you doing that? Same goddamn thing, people. They're not hurting anybody. Yes, they like to dress up in anthropomorphic form. Who cares? They're not trying to shove it down your throat. Those people happen to enjoy something. Why not just leave them the fuck alone? Oh, it's weird. Fuck you. How about that? You have no reason to do that. If you want to keep your own opinion about it, fine, keep it to yourself. Don't be a dick and put people down for something they happen to like. There's no excuse for that. I've always been the type of person that's like, if you enjoy something, do it. As long as you're not hurting yourself or you're not hurting anybody else or you're not like, killing people or killing animals or something like that. If you enjoy something, do it. I'm not trying to sound meme-ish here, but YOLO. I mean, you only live once in this entire world, and your existence is so small. Why not enjoy yourself while you're doing it? If you happen to like something, don't let other people put you down for liking it. Just do it. Wow, I sounded like Shia LaBeouf there for a second, but seriously, what is the problem with that? I don't get it. Why people always put other people down for no reason. If you don't like something, and you really passionately hate it, keep it to yourself. Stop trying to put other people down. I'm sick of reading articles online about people that happen to commit suicide because somebody was putting them down. Like that, going back to the MLP thing. How many young kids have tried to fucking hang themselves or something stupid like that because kids made fun of them in school because they happen to like My Little Pony? Leave people alone. There's no reason for it. Unless they're trying to walk up to you and shove the idea of furries down your throat, leave them the fuck alone. They're not doing anything. They're not getting in your way in life. They're not doing anything to hinder your life progress. Leave them the fuck alone. There's no reason to fucking stand there and shit on somebody for something they happen to enjoy for no reason. God, it's so frustrating. Any fandom in this entire world, say somebody doesn't like manga, leave the people that like it alone. There's no reason to shit on them. Somebody who happens to like a specific show that you absolutely hate or despise, leave them alone. They're not doing anything to hurt you. They like what they like, you like what you like, leave them alone. There's no reason to try and voice your opinion. And yeah, a lot of people will do it just to get something like this, or what I'm doing right now, out of people. Just, haha, it's funny. That guy's making, doing this video, putting this work into this. I want to voice my opinion. I think it's bullshit. These people are making fun of them. If you have, again, everybody's entitled to their own, what they like, what they hate, what they think is right. Leave people alone that happen to not like what you don't like. So, that's all I wanted to say. I know it's 14 minutes of me just rambling and complaining, but I'm so sick of seeing this game get shit on. Another thing that a lot of people complained about was Clace, the guy who actually is one of the developers for the game. He was running the Steam page a little bad in his own way, and they actually kind of pulled him off of that, and he's focusing more on development for the game itself. So when the game originally came out, a bunch of people immediately went and tried to shut the game down itself. I guess there was a big thing that happened with information leak or whatnot. That was a whole other thing. I don't know really anything about it, so I'm going to leave that alone. But going just by Steam, when somebody puts a game on Steam and they're the developer, they can actually mod some of the comments and everything and some of the reviews that people put up. And a lot of the reviews at first, people were like, oh my god, this is a furry game, why are you making this, you're such a piece of shit. and he was going and flagging those hopefully to get them pulled down because it's not cool. I completely agree. Because, I mean, these developers take the time, they build this world, and they put their, you know, not like say heart and soul into building this game itself, and then somebody turns around and shits on it. Yeah, I don't blame him. That's not cool. He did handle it a little extremely, and they even came out and apologized in one of the most recent actual comments, or whatever it's called, updates, I guess you could say, for the game itself. They came out and said, we're sorry. He wasn't doing it the way he should have, but I don't blame him. He overreacted in his own way, which I, again, don't blame him. Somebody comes in and shits on something that you like, you're going to stand up and say, whoa, 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 what's going on? Why is people doing this, you know? And I don't feel bad for him at all. I mean, yeah, he went a little extreme. He went a little too far on what he should have done, which isn't cool. But, you know, it still wasn't handled correctly, is what I should say. But then again, these guys are just indie developers. They're just regular everyday people that happen to be making a game. It's not like they're a huge studio behind them. I think this is their first game. So, you know, obviously when something new like that comes up, they're going to kind of be a little weird about it. So, I don't know. That was another thing that people bitched about. Another thing a lot of people bitched about was the fact that they forgot to actually source the images that they took. Okay, all the background images for the game are pulled from a site that they're like free to use or whatnot, but you do have to kind of point them towards that, point them towards the site saying, hey, this is where the image came from. And then all of the characters and everything are drawn by one person, I'm pretty sure, from what I've known from the news and everything. And they forgot to cite that. Yes, that was a mistake, but people are shitting on them hardcore for it, and they fixed it, obviously. It's not like they're just going to leave it up there and say, oh, fuck that, we're not going to source the people that we took the images from. They fixed it. It was a mistake, and people are shitting on this game for no reason. So, I've been rambling for a really long time. I want to actually get into the game. I apologize to anybody that actually happens to click on this to try and read this, and they don't understand anything that I'm saying, but if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, check out the Steam page. You'll understand everything that I've just said. There's no reason for any of this harsh language. If you're not into anthropomorphic, I like to use that word. That whole furry thing, like, yeah, it's a fandom and everything like that, but it's like a lot of people use it as a demeaning term. Who cares? They're fucking people with animal traits, people. What is the big deal? Oh, it's weird. Okay, so isn't anything else in this world? Like, anything anime is fucking weird, so why do people shit on it? It's not like they're having sex in the game, okay? Yes, you can date other characters in the game. Oh my god, holy shit. It's a Steam game, people. They can't put anything ridiculous in the game itself, and as far as I know, there isn't an uncensored version or whatever online somewhere. So, it's not like they're going to be having sex in the game. Yeah, you can date other people, okay? But seriously, if you stand back and look at them, they're just regular people. They just happen to have, like, a dog's face or a bird's, I don't know, beak or whatnot. What is the weird... Yeah, it's weird, obviously, but that's what makes it different, and that's why I like this game. It's different. Every visual novel, 95% of them that are in this world, are all the same style. They're all the same, just like happy girls, big boobs, all that stuff. That's how most of them are. If anybody's into visual novels, you know what I'm talking about. But when somebody comes along with a new idea and it just happens to be something that 90% of the internet hates, people just shit on it for no reason. And I don't think that's really fair. So, let's actually get into Chapter 1. I'm going to read through Chapter 1. I'm going to do the voices for it. I'm going to read through it. I have already played Chapter 1 before. So, I'm going to make the same choices that I made last time just because that's the playstyle that I'm going for. And you'll see what I'm talking about once I actually get into the game. For anybody that happens to click on this video just to watch the thing, I apologize for this huge rant. I will put a link in the description below so people can just skip over this huge dialogue piece that I have at the beginning. It's almost 20 minutes of me just talking, but I wanted to get that said. I wanted to say that to people, so anybody that happens to be looking at this game can jump on, like, maybe if I'm gonna put an actual review of this, like with this video in the link on the page for the game itself, so that anybody that sees all these ridiculous like down comments and then happens to see mine, maybe they'll click on it and they'll actually watch the video and they'll understand what I'm talking about. Give the game a chance. It's not that bad. It's an indie game, people. Yes, they're charging $10 for the game, but you have everything to look at for the game before you buy it. Hey, you have this video to watch before you buy it. You have the actual screenshots. Look before you buy. So, I'm going to get into the game. I don't care if people dislike this video. I don't care if it gets 1,000,000 dislikes. I don't care. I wanted to voice my opinion. I want people to know that this game is not what everybody else is saying it is. So here we go with the game. I'm sorry for this long discussion. So let's start Major Minor Chapter 1. Alright, so now we're jumping into Major Minor. Now, I know I just had that huge long 20-minute discussion about this game, but I don't really care. If you guys happen to just be jumping in at this point, at least check the game out for yourself. Basically, I just want people to know that this game isn't as bad as everybody points it out to be. Again, this game is only Chapter 1 of the game so far, so don't shit on it ridiculous. So I'm going to start a new game because I have technically already played Chapter 1 before. A big thing about this game is making choices. Now, there aren't a lot of choices in Chapter 1, but again, it's only Chapter 1. There's still 11 chapters to be released after this game comes out, after Chapter 1 came out, so you can't base a game off of, it's like reading a book, reading the first chapter of the book and saying, oh, well, this has absolutely nothing to do with the story that it has, and then throwing it away. No, you can't do that. If you're somebody who happens to be wanting to enjoy this game in its entirety, wait until the full thing comes out. So, where am I? Just a moment ago, I was on a bullet train, and now I look all around me, and what I see should be an impossibility. My feet are not on solid ground. I start to panic, my heart beating at an incredible rate. What the hell? Considering that I can still breathe, I start to focus only on that. That's supposed to help. 1, 2, 3. But as if to interrupt my calming exercise, I feel a paw softly place itself on my shoulder. But instead of fright, I feel happiness. Welcome to the Ark. Your soul is caught between worlds, an amalgamation of where you once were and where you long to reside. But even now, it is unclear. Are you not sure where you belong, or where you want your life to direct you? Do not worry, it is a more common plight than you realize. I will be your guide. First, I need a name. What shall I call you? So I'm just going to do my regular name, as I always do. And I have to actually... wait, can I just type it out? Wait, what? Why can't I type this? Oh, I actually have to click the enter button, don't I? Alright, I'm gonna get my mouse out of here. Sorry. So, that... A-I-N-E... I-A-C-S... Oh. Well, I can't actually put my regular name. Yeah, I'll just go Maniac. Why not? Sure. Maniac, My name, you ask? That is of no importance. I am not the one who will be remembered. But if your presence here portends to a fate of being written in the annals of time, then I must know more. What else do they call you? Maniac. Oh, I don't, what would I put for a last name? I don't know. I've never actually been asked to do a last name in a game like this. I don't know what I should put for a last name. I know this is stupid. I completely forgot the fact that it asked me for a first and last name, and I don't want to put my last name. I mean, fuck it. I'll just do... No, because that's just... I don't know. Fuck it. I'll just put a random last name. Sure, I'll just do that. Why not? Maniac free, So be it. The pleasure is mine. I thank you for keeping me company in this space between space. It will not be the last time we meet here. However, this meeting will be cut short. You seem to be fading away. Your soul must be longing to return to familiarity now, to your own world. But it won't be much longer until you are here once more. The soul's desire to flock to mystery is without pause. So until then, you are a victim of circumstance no more. This is the power granted by the Ark, the ability to create your own destiny. Many important choices will be made, and the universe will bend to them. The universe will bend to you. I look forward to watching, and I will explain more in due time. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start saving down here, just to kind of protect myself, I guess, in case something happens. My consciousness shoots back to the place I was standing just mere moments before. Who was that exactly? And where the heck was I? I scratched my head in sheer confusion and realized that these questions would go unanswered for now. It definitely wasn't a dream. When you wake up from a dream, you normally know immediately that you were dreaming. But this confusion goes beyond that. I grasp the cold metal railing in front of me. Those that are standing up waddle back and forth, but the train's changing momentum. I was lucky enough to secure a sitting spot, which was for the best. It was odd that there was a railing to grip for those who were sitting down, as if they expected the possibility of someone succumbing to vertigo and needing support as they fell. Or perhaps it was to hold on to in case of an emergency, like if the train got into an accident and derailed. I shake my head, realizing that this is a childish train of thought, and then I laugh at the pun I just made. Awkward glances shift towards me. For a second, I'm glad no one around me seems to speak English. They won't have to question to my face I might appear unstable, although it would be nice to have somebody I could converse with on this ride. It shouldn't be too much longer until we reach our destination, Tokyo, Japan. The inner child that just enjoyed his own pun lets out an excited giggle at that fact. Who didn't dream of going to Tokyo? I think everyone wanted to experience this culture at least once in their lives, and I was lucky enough to do it in style. And it was just the first of many places. On what would surely be the best year of my life. And here's chapter 1. So, I don't remember exactly what the save thing says, but this game's going to take roughly an hour to beat, so I'm going to go through it the entire thing in one episode, plus that whole thing I had at the beginning, so... While my left hand gripped the railing tightly, my right hand firmly held a can of Popstar. It was a brand of energy drink made famous by the pop idol Clace. And there's Clace. He's one of the developers for the game. Oh my god, his name's in the game! Who cares? The pop idol whose tour I was about to go on. That's right. 2 special cans were sent into the wild, and those that found them got to tour with Clace for a year. Tokyo was just the first of many spots I would make. Well, me and my newfound caffeine addiction, of course. But it was worth it, I swear. The odds of winning were literally 1 in billions. I was ready to celebrate that fact and have the time of my life. I really hope that Clace is nice. I heard that some celebrities can be complete self-absorbed jerks, and nobody has a really good gauge of how a celebrity acts in day-to-day life. What we see on stage is definitely not their real self. Of course, I was a sensible type of person. I didn't judge anybody until I actually got to know them. A character trait that was very lacking in today's world. Hey, maybe about this game! But that's none of my business. It's not right to focus on changing the other people. You can really only change yourself. Before I can continue any more of my introspection, there we go, someone trips in front of me. They land in the seat beside me and grip the railing tightly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I nod my head. It's not the end of the world or anything like that. I just didn't expect it. First time on a train, I'm not sure what came over me. I just got really dizzy all of a sudden, and my body gave way. Good thing they have these railings to grab onto, or I might have went face first into the floor. Not a pretty thought. Huh, interesting. Anyways, yeah, sorry and whatnot. I'll try to keep to myself. I try to explain that it's fine and that everything is okay, but this young squirrel seems caught up on the fact that he's committed the most egregious offense, and so I decide to let him be. Train shakes and then comes to a grinding halt. The squirrel beside me starts to panic. Great, just what we need. Oh no, what's happening? Are we going to die? I can't help but snicker at that. He's clearly one of those worst-case scenario thinkers. It's probably just something that will even itself out over the course of the next little while. Trains stall all the time. There are plenty of procedures to make sure that people remain safe. Nothing bad would happen here at all. Good thing I brought a conch so I can be in power if we're stranded here. Wait, what? Stranded here? What? I don't remember that. He goes to rummage through his bag. A bit of bookworm too, isn't he? I decided to just sit back and wait it out. In situations like this, there was really nothing you could do. I try to think of how I could keep myself occupied. I can't use my phone or anything other than text messaging. The roaming data charges while I was abroad would be substantial. But everyone back home is already asleep because of the time zones. Everyone else aboard the train starts to realize that this is no big deal also. They return to talking amongst themselves just as they were beforehand. My phone vibrates and I go to look at it. What are the odds? It's Rook. He's the one I'm supposed to meet at the train station. He's wondering where I am. I'm not sure exactly how to respond to this message. Do I let him know I might be behind, or do I play it cool? Are you almost there? Can't wait all day, you know. Say you'll be on time, or tell him you're not sure. Now, again, this game bases almost everything off of the choices that you make, whether you tell the truth, whether you lie, all of that stuff. So I'm going to tell him I'm not sure, because that's being truthful to the world. I choose to be honest with him. Wouldn't want to get things off to a bad start. I can't say for sure. God, certainty! My least favorite thing to hear, very well. But somehow, I feel like that's exactly what happened. I make a mental note for the future to not go against any plans Rook makes for me. He seems like the type that needs everything to go according to plan. I was kind of the same way, but a little less to the extreme. I accidentally skipped that. I look up from my phone for a moment and ponder whether or not to respond. I see that the squirrel from earlier is also texting away frantically. I wouldn't be surprised if he's texting his parents farewell from fear of death. I decided it would be probably the best not to reply. I wouldn't want to exasperate this anxiety about the situation and possibly make things worse. I'll give him a proper explanation in person. I put my phone away and reclined in the seat. I wasn't sure exactly what Rook's relation to Clace was. I just knew that he was the guy I was meeting. It's something I was only told last week. Normally they'd have a limo and everything, but I think they probably wanted to play it low. No need to overwhelm the moment I arrived. As soon as a flood of media coverage sounded, I don't think I'd be able to keep my calm for too long. I wonder if he would go full-on cliche and hold a large piece of cardboard that said, "Maniac!" on it. I'm assuming that he's not the guy who would normally go and pick up contest winners, and after the change of plans, he probably just volunteered, or maybe he was forced. I like not knowing everything. Discovering the story piece by piece would be fun. Speaking of which, I wonder who the other contest winner was. Would we get along? Are they cool? Their personality and how we get along would definitely impact the enjoyment of this whole endeavor. You wouldn't want to travel the world with a stick in the mud, that's for sure. I know that I'd be more than willing to get along and have fun, so this one's on them. This has never happened before. I hope we're going to be okay. I thought he'd said that this was his first time on a train. That statement was a little odd. Well then, there's no point in sitting here in an awkward silence. We might as well get to know each other, for now. You can call me Keela. I'm here too. I'm here to visit some friends. What about you? What brings you to Tokyo? It's nice to meet another English speaker. Wait a minute. I definitely signed a non-disclosure agreement. I said I wouldn't tell anyone about my involvement in the contest until it was all publicly announced. But then again, I could make a friend here. He might be mightily impressed with who I am. But isn't breaking that NDA against the law? What should I do? Do not reveal the involvement. I decided to stick to my morals and not break the contract I had signed, no matter what hung in the balance. It was probably for the best, though. A lawsuit or worse is the last possible thing I wanted. Oh, you can't say? I understand. I'm not here for anything overly special. I'm just here to visit my brother. Wait, I thought he said he was here to meet friends. Now he's here for his brother? He gives me a sly smile before abruptly changing the subject. What an odd character. I feel like he's hiding something. It's my first time in Tokyo, though. I can't wait to go to a maid cafe. I heard those were the best. Anybody that doesn't know what a maid cafe is basically you walk in and the maids are all dressed in maid uniforms, and basically they treat you as if like you're their master. It's fucking weird. It really is, but I'm pretty sure those things still exist today. I don't think I would ever be able to go to one. That would be way too embarrassing. I come to the realization this attention span is not his strong suit. I feel like we're talking about 10 things per minute here. Perhaps he's not hiding anything as much as he is planning lots of stuff. What about you? Would you ever go to a maid cafe? Or does that not sound like your thing? Not my thing. Honestly, it's not. Oh, that's a shame. You know, Japanese culture is so very different from the rest of the world. If it seems odd to you, I'd still suggest giving it a try. No one here would second guess a tourist at a maid cafe. Besides, I have plenty of time to look around and take in all the sights. I'll be here for a year after all. A year, huh? Before I can question him any further, the train starts moving again. Everyone standing up jerks back at the sudden movement. That didn't take very long at all. That was it? Wow, I sure was scared for nothing. I let out a nervous laugh as I'm not sure what to say to him. I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing and belittle him for freaking out. I wonder what kind of crazy situation he's going to get himself into, wandering the maid cafes of Tokyo all by himself. For a moment, I feel bad that those places aren't really my scene. It would have been interesting to see what kind of shenanigans he could get into, but I guess most of my time would be spent with Rook. I wonder what he was like. More importantly, I wonder how he'd treat me when we met, especially after that text message incident. He really didn't seem happy that I showed him doubt. In fact, I had a distinct feeling that I'd be hearing about it later. However, I could rest easy knowing that I could told him the truth. Wouldn't want to lie. I think that a momentary pitfall from telling the truth is better than lying with the intent to hide. It's just so much simpler to tell the truth, no matter how those around you react. Speaking of lies, I take a big sigh of relief knowing that I didn't break that NDA and tell Keela. I'll be able to rest a little easier tonight, that's for sure. Breaking that contract would be one massive lie. I give myself an imaginary pat on the back. The events of the train ride seem to be playing through my mind like clockwork. I wonder over and over, what would have changed if I said different things? Was I happy with what I said? I don't remember the last time I got so analytical. Perhaps it was because of that weird vision I had. I can control my own destiny, or something like that. What a ridiculous thought. If I could control my own destiny, I don't think this is where I want to be. Or would it be? At the exact moment, I felt an intense pain attack my chest. More pain than I ever felt before. It pulses with my heartbeat. It's unbearable. I go to clutch my gut instinctively, only to find out that I cannot move. Everyone around me seems to have frozen in place. The pain radiates through my body until eventually settling in my head. I feel a burning pain. My eyes start to water and I feel tears stream down my cheek. I can't move. I can't call for help. But then I feel that paw on my shoulder again. And the pain fades away. What the hell? I'm glad that you're starting to ask the important questions, Maniac. What would have happened if I said something different? How will the world shape around this? Analyzing our choices is the only way to ensure we make the correct ones in the future. For example, it relieved me to hear that maid cafes were not your cup of tea. It's such a juvenile concept in my opinion. I'm glad that you're not the type to partake. There's also the fact that you'll soon have a whole new social circle. Might it be more important to focus on spending time with them, rather than spending time with a stranger from a train? I feel like you have made the right choice here. There's a bigger picture to focus on, bigger than maids and whims. Of course, my opinion is just that. It is not my place to decide or influence you into deciding one thing over another. There really is no wrong choice here, at least not what I can fathom. But then there's Rook. I can't help but feel like your response to his message affected your relationship, and not for the better. I'm sure he'll come around though. Telling him the truth was the right thing to do. If only you had waited a few minutes to respond, however, the train began working quite quickly. And there's my issue. The train stalling did not convey the internal workings of your mind. If anything, you were excited to arrive and begin your adventure. So then why? It appears that even I do not know everything. Perhaps that is best. I remain ignorant in some capacity. As those around you should and do, I commend you for not breaking your contract. Keela did not need to know. Nobody needs to know until the world is ready. I think we can both rest assured that not telling him was optimal. So, as you can see, a choice is not simply a choice. A choice is a consequence, whether immediate or far off. And a choice is a chance for deep reflection of both you and others. So for all our sakes, I hope that you put immense thought into your choices from here on out. Alas, my input can only go so far. The choices are still yours to make. I can partake in the reflection with you. However, we are unable to change what has already been done. We lack that power. I know you feel like I owe you some answers, and that might well be true, but they do not come so soon. So it took me roughly an hour and a half to beat the first part, so this is going to be a super long video, or maybe I'll cut it down into 2 parts. I haven't decided yet. I was immediately shot back to my own reality, or at least the reality I was comfortable with. The previous encounter solidified the fact that this was not a dream in any way. That just happened. Dude, are you okay? We shouldn't stand here all day. Huh? I noticed that Keela is standing there, his backpack wrapped around his shoulder. I too was holding my luggage. Did I just lose some time? You sure started acting strange all of a sudden. Did I say something wrong? I really should start watching what I say. I assure him he did nothing wrong. Something that I feel I will be doing a lot while I'm around him. I just shrugged my shoulders and we continued to exit the train together. We were the last 2 on board. At least he waited for me, or I'd be clueless and terrified right now. Not something I want to be. Alone and scared in Tokyo? Yikes. When we exit the train, we notice that there aren't too many people standing around. That's odd. We were on there so long that the initial rush already subsided. I think for a moment and decided not to ask. If I asked Keela how long we were on the train together after it stopped, it would not help his view of my being sane. I decided to leave it be, though I wonder what just happened exactly. While I was conversing with that enigmatic man, my body had to have been moving back in the real world. There's no other explanation for why I was all of a sudden standing up with my luggage in tow. It's actually a terrifying thought, and so I decided to push it away. Well, I guess this is it, huh? I kind of pictured a grander entrance, but there's really nobody here. Oh well, I should have expected less. The less you expect, the less chance of getting disappointed, right? That was sure an odd way of looking at things. Of course, I'm sure no one would ever claim that Keela was normal. He sure was a character. Hey, pull out your phone. We should exchange numbers quickly, just in case. I know you're not really into maid cafes, as you said earlier, but I can keep you in the loop about other stuff. There's much more to do in Tokyo than just that. I'm sure we can find something we both enjoy. He pulls out his phone and holds it straight up. I pull the phone out of my pocket and do the same. These days, The phones these days had SIMs that were outfitted with NFC technology. This allowed me to exchange of contact information when phones were near each other. Of course, you had to unlock your phone and the screen had to be on. This kept you safe from sending your phone number to every person you brushed up against. I got his information. Thanks, man. It was nice to meet you. He slowly starts to scurry away. I guess most of our correspondence from now on would be over text messages. At least I hope it would be. Getting phone calls is weird in this day and age. I wonder where I'm supposed to go. Rook never told me a specific spot. He just said to meet him at the train station. I figured that he meant be right here when I got off, but I don't see him. I wander aimlessly around the place for a few moments before deciding to give up. This is what phones are made for, after all. Just as I pull it out, I'm frozen in absolute fear as I feel a paw rest abruptly on my shoulder. What? No, not again. Hey, you look terrified. I just like that. What? Don't look at me like I'm not supposed to scare you. It's your tolerance for fear that's the problem here. Oh, what a relief. This must be Rook. It's nothing happened. Speaking of fear, that was some kind of spook you gave me when you said you might not be here on time. We're on a strict schedule. STRICT. He starts typing away on his tablet. Strict. Adjective. Acting in close conformity to requirements or principles. I trust you know how to pronounce it. And now you know how to spell it. Thanks to yours truly. Now, just wow. And I thought Killer was a character. Although I guess I would be a little upset if the people involved in this contest were boring. Though a little condescending, he had every right to be. He was definitely high up there in the biz. So, where's the other one? I was confused. I wasn't quite sure what he meant. The other what? The other contest winner, I mean. You were supposed to be together. Wait, what? Ugh, insufferable. I dislike being lied to. I sincerely tell him I have no idea what he's talking about. I was only with Keela on the train. Oh, out of the shadows someone shuffles towards us. Hey, you two. You were watching us? That's just exceedingly creepy, Keela. I wasn't watching you. I was just shy. And hold on a darn second. You're the other contest winner? He looks me up and down, and I'm extremely glad I didn't tell him. If he repeated that to Rook, I'd be in some serious trouble, I'm sure. I just not unsure of what to say. I guess I should have expected it, to be honest. We were both on the same train, and we were both English speakers at that. Rook must have texted us both at the same time. He sure has busy fingers. Well, either way, I have to say I'm really glad that it's you I'll be spending time with. I feel like we'll get along on the train. For as short a time as we had together. Even if you don't really want to go to Maid Cafe, I'm sure we'll figure something out when we can do together. Wow. It looks like we'll be spending a lot more time together now. More than we both could have anticipated. So I'm actually doing pretty well compared to my first playthrough. I'm reading this considerably faster than I was, which is way better than I'm expecting. So, it's not taking as long, I guess, but then again, this is going to be a long video, so I stand there for a few moments. It was an awkward silence to be sure, but there really wasn't anything I could think to say. Keela was the other contest winner. I mean, I know in the back of my mind, I thought it might be cool if he was, but that's just because he was the only other English speaker I ran into. Also the fact that he was fun to observe. But there were just too many things going my way ever since I first found myself in that arc. It was extremely eerie to say the least. I thought about someone falling and using the railing to support their fall, and this happened to Keela. I thought of using my phone to pass the time, and I got a text message. The train outage didn't last very long, just like I had anticipated, and Keela ended up being the other contest winner. Like in the passing thought I had. I have to chalk this down as mere coincidence, though I seem to be tangled up in something unknown via this arc, and I can't help to jump to conclusions. Sorry, it's just a lot of reading. Assuming things never got anywhere productive, I decide just to wait and see what happens next. According to that mystery man, the world will bend to the choices I have made on the train. And so I actually await how the world may change. So, you're not one for maid cafes, are you? That's good. Those things are just a waste of time. Hey, it's not nice to judge someone based on what they like to do in their spare time. That's something you learn in grade school, Rook. Don't be so crass. Rook types away on his tablet. Is he looking up the definition of crass? I am definitely not crass. I apologize if it came off that way. Regardless, since you two couldn't come up with a place to go together, allow me. I shall invoke the rule of Rook. That sounds terrifying. The rule of Rook? Are you serious right now? Hear me out. You two can't decide where to go, and you're both new to Japan. Me, with my vast knowledge of Tokyo, have decided on a place to go for us. I guess that makes sense. What do you think? I nod. Though I think that it needs a little less agnomatic realm. Wow, I don't know why I keep skipping the stuff, sorry. Well, where are we going to take us? That would be a surprise. But I will say this, Electric City. Electric Town. Electric Town? You don't mean Akihabara? Yes, I do. Clace owns quite a few places in that district. He loves the culture also. And since you won't be meeting Clace for a couple days, as something has come up, I will be able to show you around in depth. Wait, what happened? Is Clace okay? Yes, he's fine. Just got into one of his semi-daily arguments with his tour manager, Singe. It's all minty. Nothing a simple shouting match and a short cooldown period won't solve. But there's tempers can't sure flare. Wow. I never would have expected Clace to be angry at type. That seems odd. That's called a snap judgment, Keela. Those speak more about you than the person you're judging, you know. You mean like how you immediately judge the idea of maid cafes? There's a difference between a snap judgment and conveying fact. Maid cafes are a waste of time. And what gives you the right to say that? I think they'd be fun. Just make sure to look it up in the Rook book, okay? I don't have time to explain. Oh god, there's a book now? I don't think there's any problem in going to Maid Cafe. I just think you're insecure with your public image. Wouldn't you say so? I realize that this is the first time Keela had called me by my name, and that catches me a little off guard. Though me being caught off guard prevented me from answering the question in time, which was good. Had it not caught me off guard, I would have probably agreed, which would not have gotten things off to a good start with Rook. Even if he didn't like the way I responded to his next text message, I was glad that I didn't do anything to further hurt my potential bond. I'm also glad I didn't break the NDA. There's no telling how he would have responded if I did, and Keela let that slip. Definitely dodged a bullet there, that's for sure. I'm going to take your silence as a non-answer. Anyway, we should get going. Don't want to keep anyone waiting. Follow me, you two. So yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this game. It's not what everybody thinks. People shit on this game for no reason. I think it's got a kind of a cool story in its own way. Like, a lot of visual novels are... Like, the game itself is built around the idea that the developers have for the game. So if they have a specific goal or a specific view of the game that they want to show, that's what they're doing. And as you guys notice, this is really easy for me to read because it's as if, like, somebody's just saying it when you're reading this story, when you're reading the dialogue, which I think is a lot easier to read and a lot nicer to read because it's not like all these ridiculous, like, kind of short paragraphs and stuff like that. So Rook leads us outside of the train station. I take a deep breath of fresh air, which there is none in Japan. This is my first time being outside in quite a while. I didn't realize it earlier, but also feels very nice to be able to use my legs again. The air here feels different. Of course, it's an entirely different environment than I was used to. And it's not a bad different either. Huh? I sure smells different here. Indeed it does. You get used to it. I know they put you on the train pretty fast after you got off that flight. So this must be your first time outside. At least your first real time. Yeah, I'd say so. Wait, does that mean me and well, yeah, we're on the same flight at the same time too? And we just didn't know it? What are the odds? Actually, the odds are pretty much 100% that we would be on the same place in this case. But I don't feel the need to point... Well, really? Thank you. I don't need to point him out and correct him. No one likes being corrected. Pretty solid, actually. You both won the same contest, after all. Of course, Rook says it for me. Rook, the social assassin, blurts out the things we don't dare to. Yeah, you're right. Keela looks defeated, precisely the reason why I didn't want to say that. Well, there's no point standing around discussing the smell in the air, you know? We did tell you we wanted to keep things low-key, but Clace insisted that you be transported around town by limo. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That was a pleasant surprise, actually. Mood completely reversed. Let's go. Not far to go. It's right here. Rook takes a few steps towards the parked limousine and knocks on the window a few times. Hey, come out and say hi. The two lucky winners are finally here. It was hidden in plain sight. I never would have guessed that was our limo since they said... Whew! Okay. I never would have guessed that was our limo, since they said we'd be keeping things on the down low. Well played. Outside of the driver's seat in the limo emerged a new face. A new, pretty face. You two are... You two are hit. Yeah, I guess. There were only supposed to be two winners after all, remember? Not what I meant. I just expected something different, that's all. What is that supposed to mean? Well, you can call me Jade. It's a pleasure to meet the both of you. After a year of hype around this contest, you just start to expect someone larger than life, that's all.
I apologize if I offended you in any way.
It's nice to meet you. Also, and no offense was taken, don't worry. In fact, I've been wondering, a lot has been discussed about the image of people we have in our head, and how sometimes it doesn't match up entirely. Can you tell us a little bit about what Clace is like? I feel like I've built up this image that it's really incorrect. You've met him, right?
I see him all the time. Clace is a self-entitled, self-absorbed jerk. He only cares about himself and his own gain.
What?
That was a joke. Sorry, I'm still learning this humor thing. One step at a time, I guess.
If that was her definition of a joke, she doesn't need steps. She needs a giant leaps and bounds.
Rook tries to teach me in our off time together, but I'm far from master of the art of humor.
Oh, that explains it. Rook taught her. Well, can you answer me truthfully?
Clace is, well, he can be shy and silent, but he can also be loud and outgoing. He can be very polite and formal, or he can be lax and crude. He's just like any of us. He's definitely not who you see on stage and in the spotlight. That's all just an act, a publicity stunt. He's just very down to earth and friendly, unless you get on his bad side, of course. Like you or I don't think you'll have any trouble getting along with him. Nor do I think he's anything like what you picture.
That sounds really cool. Thanks for answering. And about the humor thing, you're doing great. Keep learning. Keela can lie.
Thanks, Keela. I'll show you two to your seats, and we can finally get on the road.
Hype level increasing. I don't know, I like this story. Shut up. We are led into a massive limo. In fact, it's much larger on the inside than it does from the outside. I'm baffled. Jade quickly goes back to the driver's seat, leaving Rook, Keela, and I to sit in the back together. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. This is the biggest vehicle I've ever been in. This is unbelievable. It's definitely not bigger than a train or an entire plane, Keela, though I dare not correct them. And thankfully, neither does Rook. That was odd. Huh? Oh, sorry guys, I was in my own little world. I apologize. Was he staring at Jade through the separator? He should practice his own rules. That's pretty creepy. Does someone have a crush? I hear Jade speaks to us from the driver's seat.
So where exactly am I taking you three?
Actually, they wouldn't decide on a place, so I say we take them to the old homestead. Plenty of fun to be had.
Now you're speaking my language.
Heh, can you believe that Keela wanted to go to a maid cafe?
Typical tourist.
Hey!
Sorry, it's just a bit of a local joke. If you come to Japan and immediately seek out maid cafes, well, it shows you only have a superficial understanding of the beautiful Japanese culture. Just fact, no offense meant.
Anyways, I guess we'd better chat and pass the time until we arrive at our destination. What's on your mind? Throughout all the previous conversations, I've noticed some shuffling coming from the passenger seat in the front of the limo. Was someone there with Jade? I decided to bring that up. Oh, you noticed, huh? Well, Inumi, do you want to say hey? Hi. Just as quickly as he appeared, he retreats back behind the shelter of the passenger seat. Who was that? It's Clace's brother, Inumi. Clace's brother? But he looks nothing... It's Clace's brother, Inumi. If we were in the anime, I would have seen an anger vein popping on Rook's head. He says it in a tone that implies he knows that Inumi is not Clace's brother, but we all have to play along, for whose benefit. Oh, I see. Well, that's cool. Very cool indeed. I could tell if he's sincere or not. Well, either way, I have some stuff that you'll need to know before I can confidently throw you into the wild, so make sure you're paying attention and take notes if you have to. Me and Keela both lean in and listen intently. First of all, many people are going to assume that you speak Japanese. Well, in reality, you don't. You'll need to say, Nihongo ga wakarimasen. Wow. This will let them know, albeit in imperfect grammar, that you don't understand Japanese. I'll have you say it like this to avoid confusion. If you told them in perfect Japanese that you don't understand, well, that would just be confusing. If someone flawlessly said to me that they were sorry they didn't speak English, I'd think they were pulling my leg. Keela nods and I do in turn. Saying it that way will almost always mark you as a foreigner, which is what you want to advertise. Oh, and if the citizens call you a gaijin, just know that it's a term of endearment. You might hear it a lot in your adventures around Tokyo, and I won't be there all the time. Won't be there for all of them. This all sounds fair and true. It's nice to know Rook can be civil and polite. For once, he's helping and not judging or being condescending in the slightest. I start to see him in a different light. A light that makes it really hard to discern his true intentions. Why judge and belittle us earlier and then be so kind and polite? But there's one more thing that is the most important of all. It relates to current events in Tokyo. What is it? The midnight deaths. Excuse me? Lately, there's been lots of crime and self-inflicted harm in Tokyo. But these acts always happen at midnight, right on the dot. Are you serious? I'm shivering. Hey, I never lie, especially not when the topic involves murder and suicide, okay? And since these grisly actions happen always at midnight, they were given the term the Midnight Deaths. It sounds weird, I know, but it sounds much cooler in Japanese. Everything sounds a little cheesy when romanized. But, as if the timing of the events isn't weird enough, it's even more weird when you look at the timing of Incident Zero. What do you mean? These tragedies, they only started happening the night Clace and his tour arrived in Tokyo. Us. What? And as the Japanese are a very spiritual and superstitious people, some have started to think that Clace is a curse or ill omen. What? That's not nice. I hope now you can understand that having you all here on the down low wasn't just a decision made on the fly. Clace fought sins for a week just to get you this limo. He's also been restricted from going outside too much at all. Wow. So along with that, I would suggest not telling anyone why you're here. You don't want to be shunned by association, so just make sure to keep your involvement in the contest a secret. But none of you have had a problem with that thus far, so just continue as you have been. No PR announcement either. Normally, there would be a formal announcement in the press and a welcome ceremony with paparazzi et al. But we thought it would be best to avoid that just until these events come to an end. Please understand. I understand. It's just not what I expected at all. This won't affect your involvement with Clace or his friends, or your enjoyment of Japanese culture, of course. Everything about this endeavor is still on par for the green. We just need to take a couple extra precautions. Yes, of course. I wanted to get this out of the way before you found out on your own. The streets of Tokyo also empty much earlier than normal. People rushing home to be with their loved ones. It's said that those who wander the streets after midnight are looking for death to find them. Okay, enough talking about death for one day, Rook. Too much for my nerves. Sorry. The limo slowly comes to a stop, but this just leaves us all in an awkward silence, as we can't even hear the motor running anymore. Sorry, it's so much reading that it's like, I need to take another drink. Sorry, it's killing my mouth. Reading aloud like this really dries your mouth out. Well, I guess that means we're here. You know, I've got to say, you picked the worst possible time to tell us that story of yours, Rook. I scare easily, you know, and I'm going to be worrying every second I'm here. Would you rather I didn't tell you and then you get harassed by people on the street because you told them your secret? It needed to be said. I just assumed it was better than I explained it than some random citizen on the streets. I guess you're right. Sorry for overreacting. The other people wouldn't have said it nearly as politely as me, and some places would deny you service instantly. Just don't mention Clace to anyone who doesn't know your involvement, and you'll be golden. It's not a big deal. Rook leaves the limo without saying another word. It seems like this strip has much more terms and conditions than originally intended. But I guess for peace of mind for us and for the citizens, keeping our involvement a secret was an easy obstacle to overcome.
Well, here we are, you two. Just mind your heads as you exit. Wouldn't want to bang them on the way out.
Me and Keela exited the limo in tandem. The doorway was big enough for two of us both. Wow, I totally fucked that word up. Jesus. As soon as I step out into the open... As soon as I step out into the open and feast my eyes upon Akihabara, all fear and worry about the previous subjects swiftly melt away. This was amazing. By the way, Akihabara is a real place in Tokyo, Japan. It's like... I guess it's like going to like the Vegas Strip, but it's for like technology and like games and anime and stuff like that. It's a huge technology. I think it's a small section of Tokyo, Japan, and it's just all about technology. It's really cool. I would love to visit there someday. You see pictures a lot, but only your eyes can capture the full glory of any given subject. At least I think Akihabara is the name for it. It might have another name. I'm pretty sure Akihabara is the right name for it, though.
Well, what do you think? I tried to park in a spot that gave for the grandest reveal. Did I do it justice?
It looks absolutely stunning. Better than I ever could have imagined. So, where are you taking us? I noticed in the corner of my eye that Rook is scurrying off. He must want to get to our destination first, wherever it is.
Well, since apparently the both of you couldn't come to a mutual conclusion, we've decided on a place for you. As you might have heard, Clace owns quite a few places in Akihabara. He pulls strings behind the scenes, but there's one place that he puts a little more care into than most. A little place called Arcadia.
Arcadia? You mean the biggest arcade in Electric Town?
One and the same. He bought it around 5 years back and turned it into what it is. He has a passion for retro gaming, so he made it a hotspot for gamers of all walks of life. No one can deny a classic.
I had no idea Clace owned it.
I expect you to pretend you never heard that. Are we clear? At this current moment in time, if people knew that, it would hurt business. We need to wait until the fear around his name subsides. Though, even then, even then, he may still choose to keep it a secret. It might attract the stalkers and creepers if they knew exactly what he owned and where to find him.
Fair enough.
So just follow me and we'll get this show on the road. Rook has already gone ahead, as you can clearly see. I really don't know why, but if you question his actions, you'll end up clueless almost 24/7.
Roger that. Let's go. Jade led us down the crowded streets of Akihabara. I couldn't tell why they called it Electric Town. The streets or stores were just brimming with lights and technology. Keela is also astounded. He strategically weaves... Wow. Ugh! We strategically weave through the crowd with Jade at the helm, directing us with expertise that only someone local could have. Though with her leading us, lots of glances are made towards Keela and I. It's very obvious that we're not from here. More obvious than we both would have liked to admit. I have a feeling we won't even be needing to use the sentence that Rook gave us. It looks like the people are avoiding us on purpose. I see some people walking through the streets with surgical masks on. Are they afraid we'll make them sick or something? That's weird. For a moment, I'm overwhelmed and I have to catch my breath. Is this what culture shock is like?
Hey now, calm down. I know this is different from what you're used to seeing, but please continue to breathe.
Yeah, we don't want you to die yet. We've barely just begun. I know how to take one last deep breath before returning to my normal pace of breathing. Now I'm conscious of my breathing. I hate that when that happens. I decide to change the subject and ask how much farther it is to this Arcadia.
It's actually right here. Just follow me for a moment longer.
Jade walks towards a nearby door. It looks very inconspicuous. I never would have guessed that inside was one of Akihabara's hottest arcade scenes. Keela follows her to the door and I do as well. She opens it slowly and dramatically. Welcome to Arcadia! He says it quite loudly with a dramatic flair. Wait, did he come ahead just to make our entrance more dramatic? That is such a Rook thing to do. Thank me later. Not many people get to enter Arcadia with such finesse. Welcome home. Home?
Yeah, we pretty much live here. I mean, Clay pays for it, so we get to stay here for free of charge.
We just need to clean. So welcome to my paradise. My baby.
You mean our baby.
Just what kind of relationship do these two have?
Rook, make sure to show them a good time. Oh, Maniac, make sure to come see me in my office before you go. Something I'd like to show you in private.
Oh, okay, I know what it is. Don't worry, guys. It's not anything weird. She smirks at me before walking away. So, as you can see, this is pretty much heaven on earth. Any video game you want, we have it here. Clace is loaded, so if there's something he wants, he gets it, no doubt. I noticed that Rook is typing away on his tablet while talking to us, but he's doing so efficiently that you couldn't take offense. It takes some serious skill to multitask that well. Wow, do you have Backroad Brawler 2? Not only that, but we have Backroad Brawler 2 Turbo. I recommend that one myself. I'm quite a fan. Awesome. One-on-one, Rook. Calling it now. It's out of order. What? You mean both of them? I must have been a little too vigorous when the joystick the last time I played. But Jade doesn't like it when I go easy on her. She puts up quite a good fight herself. No comment. Oh, that sucks. Indeed it does. But we have something else that will be fun to play. Follow me. He leads us over to a big machine that says UFO Claw Game on it. Wait, I think I've seen this machine in anime and video games before. You've never truly experienced a Japanese arcade until you played a UFO Claw Game. Aren't these just like the claw games we have back at home? The ones that give you stuffed animals? They're almost always rigged. The toys would always fall out of the claw under their own weight. Well, I'll have you know that we don't rig games here at Arcadia. Besides, if you look at the machine, you'll see that all the animals are small in size, so they don't fall out. And the claw has a UFO around it, so it has a motif. It's like you're abducting the cute little bears. Ugly little creatures. Whew! Ugly little creatures, sorry. What did you just say? Did the cold-hearted Rook just say what I thought he said? Rook immediately steps behind me and pushes me towards the UFO claw machine. He grabs my paw and places it on the joystick. Just play! I really have no choice, so I proceed to play this little game. Apparently, I'm an alien spacecraft abducting tons of little teddy bears from their hometown of Teddyville. You know, it kind of makes me feel bad. I could be robbing these bears of their entire future, but now is not the time for short-sighted introspection. The aliens clearly need the bears in order to sustain themselves, or else they would not be abducting them in the first place. That's right. I'm the protagonist, which means these bears were the villains. Perhaps Teddyville is a terrorist regime. Perhaps letting them live and not abducting them would rob the future of everyone else on the planet. I grip the joystick tightly and aim the claw towards the bear, who is poking out the most. I take the deepest breath of my life before pressing the button. For freedom! And I win. It drops the teddy bear in the little chute, and the machine plays some sort of victory fanfare, which is really loud. That was extremely anticlimactic, and that was really cliche. I know. Again, the writing, it's an indie game, guys. Not all the writing's going to be ridiculous, but it's still creative in its own way. This is Rook's measure of true Japanese arcade experience. It was pretty dull. Congrats! Not many people can win on just their first try. Go on, take your prize. You've earned it. I nod and lean down, grabbing the small teddy bear from the chute. It's extremely fluffy, but it seems cheaply made, like it could fall apart at any moment. That was pretty cool, I guess. It's nowhere near as intense as a battle in Backroad Brawl 2 would have been. Well, we don't have the luxury to pick and choose. Not every game works. Also, you have yourself a great souvenir. Keep that safe, and you'll always remember the time you won big in Arcadia. I don't think this qualifies as winning big. In fact, I don't really like or care for this bear at all. I don't think it's something I'd keep. I wonder, should I give it to Keela? Or perhaps it would help deepen my bond with Rook. Either way, I don't think there's something I'd keep. Maybe they'd enjoy it. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to seem unsentimental. See, okay, so this one is another choice. Like, you can give it to Rook, which it seemed like from before the game started, he was really into the stuffed animals. So I'm going to give it to him. That's what I did in my other game. I decided to give it to Rook. It wouldn't hurt to try and butter him up. Not that a grown-ass man, yes, the grown-ass man should be really care about stuffed animals. He would never admit to it. As you guys notice, he started after the first part of he started to explain about the game, but you can definitely tell he was like, oh, the furry little, disgusting creatures. Having him on my side would be a good thing. But before I can even do or say anything, I hear a phone ring abruptly. Rook's ears perk up, and he reaches for his pocket. Excuse me for just a moment. This may be important. He leaves Keela and I to socialize while he tends to his phone call. You know, I expected someone this high up showbiz to be taking calls constantly, but he's only taken one in the entirety of our time together. That seems pretty low maintenance. What's his actual job title? That's nothing I should ask. Wouldn't he? I don't know if he's manager. No, it's not his manager. I guess he would be like the press guy, maybe? I don't know. So what do you think of this place? I think it's cool, but there's no food, and it seems like they just wanted to brag. Like, honestly, I'm famished. And instead of going anywhere food-related, they just wanted to show off their arcade. I nod in agreement before noticing a fierce rumble in my stomach. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about food for the last 12 hours. Suddenly, I'm starved. I wonder if Jade has anything in her office. I remember that she wanted to see me before we left. We're not about to leave, but Rook may be occupied for the next little while. Should I go see her? Yeah. I let Keela know that I'm going to take Jade up on her offer while we wait for Rook to finish his phone call. Keela nods. Probably for the best. Who knows how long he's going to be. While I wait, I guess I'll try to win my own toy. I start wandering towards the general direction Jade did when she left us earlier, but this place is huge. Eventually I find a small door hidden in the back. It leads to a single stairway which has a wooden door at the end of it. This must be Jade's room. I slowly ascend the staircase and open the door that awaits me at the top. When I arrive at Jade's office, I see her at the bookshelf with her back turned towards me. I decide to call out her name and get her attention.
Oh, hey there. I didn't expect you to come so soon. My apologies for not being ready to receive you.
I let her know that Rook is taking calls, so I decided to come see her while I waited. I inquire as to what she wanted to show me in private.
Well, actually, I have a couple questions to ask you.
She takes a deep breath as if she's about to make a speech she's rehearsed 1,000 times. But what she says catches me completely off guard.
Do you believe in other worlds? You know, like a parallel universe?
I don't know what to say. I just stare at her dumbfoundedly. What kind of question is that?
Well, let me explain it like this then. Let's say I flip a coin, and let's say it lands on heads. Are you willing to believe that another reality exists where the coin lands on tails?
Again, I'm not sure what to say.
I'll take that silence as a no. Well, allow me to continue. If I flip the coin and hold my hand over top to conceal what side it landed on, this is where it gets interesting. Besides neither of us have observed the result, it is both heads and tails at the same time. Until it is revealed, there is a moment in time where we exist in both realities at once. The heads universe and tails. Therefore, it is impossible to deny the existence of multiple realities, since we are able to place ourselves at an apex, and apex being the topmost point, like a fork in a road. The point where the reality you'd end up in is decided. But with that being said, there needs to exist a reality or universe where I decide not to toss the coin at all. There would have to be a universe where I never came to my office. There would have to be a universe where we didn't come to this arcade. A universe where you didn't win the contest. A universe where we were never born. A universe where the dinosaurs never went extinct. The more you branch it out, the crazier it can get. But these realities must exist because of the coin toss. It's a thought experiment I created while writing my thesis paper. It won several awards. But I think it's really silly that I won anything. When you write about quantum mechanics, you can just ad-lib everything. It's akin to creative writing. It's all theory with no practice, but that's what makes it such an enticing field of study. There's a way to prove anything you can think of. As ridiculous as it sounds, I'm sure there's even a world where the inhabitants aren't covered in fur, feathers, or scales. And that's just fun to think about.
I blink a few times at a loss for words.
Oh, sorry, I must sound insane. I get that a lot when I talk about QM. But I can assure you, it will all make sense shortly. One moment.
She moves to her desk and sits down, so I sit down in the chair across from her. She scatters a few papers across the desk.
I've been trying to use my studies to find a deeper meaning behind the midnight deaths. It's really puzzling me. I know Rook told you all about them on the limo ride here, and quite frankly, it doesn't really make any sense. But because it makes no sense is precisely why I'm attracted to solving this mystery.
She pushes a newspaper clipping towards me. It's an article about the victim of one of the midnight deaths.
This one here. He died of a gunshot wound to the head. Self-inflicted. But there was no gun to be found.
She takes out another newspaper clipping and puts it over top the last one.
And this victim hung himself, but there was no noose found. He was found on his floor. None of the methods of death match up with the surrounding environment of the incident. It makes no sense.
That reality did make no sense.
But then there's one incident here that really caught my eye. Because everyone was on guard when midnight came around, there's someone who survived. They were on the verge of becoming one of the victims, but made it through.
She shows me one final news clipping.
He reported loss of breath, like he was being strangled or suffocated, but it suddenly stopped. It matches the other victim who had hung himself. No noose. He didn't even own a rope. But get this, his neck was injured, exactly like it would have been if he was actually the victim of a hanging. Were he to actually die, it would have matched the other victims entirely. But since he survived, well, you know what they say about dead men telling no tales. Since this one survived, I think we can use his story. And that is precisely what I want to do. If I can come up with something incredible enough, however incredible it may seem, perhaps I can clear Clace's name. The kid doesn't deserve to be blamed for something completely beyond his control.
I agree.
The one survivor explained a certain phenomena while he was unable to breathe. His mind was overtaken with memories that were not his own, yet were his own at the same time. That's how he described it. Now, you know why I explained my theory to you earlier. It's because I want to imply that to the midnight deaths. I believe that something is happening at midnight that causes multiple realities to coincide with each other. And if the person happens to be dead in the other world, then they perish quite the same way in ours. Like the events of a parallel universe are catching up to them somehow. I know this doesn't explain the murder aspect at all. It's my theory that those are entirely unrelated cases. The murderers always had weapons and appeared completely irresponsible for their reactions. A recent gunning ended up with the attacker taking his own life, but the gun was right there, unlike the other case. My theory is that worlds are colliding, and the colliding world's history is overriding our own. I have no theory as of yet to explain why every case is an act of suicide. That is the part I'm struggling with. Nor am I able to theorize why these acts happen only at midnight. Is there some sort of window involved? Anyway, what do you think?
I tell her that it makes sense, yet it makes absolutely no sense at the same time.
Haha, that's how you know it belongs in the realm of QM. While making no sense at all, there is really no way to prove it wrong.
What an interesting thing to study. She was right, though. I really couldn't prove her theory wrong. She had a tangible line of thought, even though that's all it was.
So, that's really all I wanted to show you. I wanted you to know that I am not taking this instance in stride. I will do my best to free Clace from all of the suspicion he's come under, and so you can enjoy Tokyo openly.
I thank her for the interesting lesson and for trying to help us all. As weird as her theories and field of study were, it was nice to see someone sensible. She's not easily frightened like Keela, nor is she judging anyone like Rook. It was a very nice middle ground, and I hope to see more of her in the future.
If you'd let me return to my studies, perhaps I can have something more concrete later tonight.
She takes out her phone and places it on the table.
Would you mind exchanging contact information with me? I'll be sure to report any findings to you promptly.
I know I hadn't placed my phone on top of hers. We both press the unlock button and turn the screen on, and I get her phone much like I did Keela's. I leave her to her own studies and head back to the arcade. Rook and Keela are nowhere to be found, so I decide to look out for them outside. Okay, so going with that little theory that she just had right there, if you guys think about that, that's also another creative way in why this game has anthropomorphic people. Like, seriously, if you stand back and think about that, you know, it's honestly kind of a decent theory in its own way. Like, just like, it's like the whole thing with, oh, are there aliens in space? I know this is weird, but are there aliens in space? Well, we don't know, because we've never discovered that. Are there other parallel universes? We don't know. We've never discovered it. I know it's crazy to think about, but if you stand back and just look at the simplistic thing, we simply don't know. It could be, but we don't know. And that's what's cool. Also, going with what she said, what if there's another universe where people don't have scales or feathers or beaks? What if they're just normal people like us? If you think about it, this game literally just plays on a parallel universe to our own, which I think is cool because if you notice, nobody actually, like, really points out the fact that they're anthropomorphic, aside from what she said right there. They all think that they're regular people, just like we think we're regular people. So if you think about it, they could be in a parallel universe to our own in its own way. I don't know, I think it's just cool how they justify it. Like, they're not making this game specifically for furries or anything like that. Yes, it's geared towards that, but it could just be a parallel universe. Like, that's what's cool about it. It doesn't just go with the fact that, oh, they're anthropomorphics. It goes with the fact that there's a whole theory, quantum theory, around the whole thing, which I think is cool. Huh, it already got dark outside. Just how much time were we wasting in there? Oh well. Akihabara at night time truly was a spectacle to behold. It was lit up. Daytime. Wow, like daytime. Did you enjoy a little date? I wouldn't really call it a date. I was just joking, Rook. No need to repeat it. Now I'm all embarrassed. Man, Keela was talking about me behind my back. That's new. I made a joke about you possibly wanting to woo Jade or something. I was dumb. I apologize. Even if I wanted to, I doubt she would have any of that. She was clearly infatuated with solving mysteries and quantum mechanics, mumbo jumbo. Regardless, it made me laugh. We bonded, etc. But as you might not be aware, something came up. I didn't want to interfere with whatever you two may have been doing. But I got a call. I have to rush you home. Home? Wait, what? Bonding with Rook? I noticed Keela is holding a bag of some sort of fast food. No way! They got food without me? Home being your hotel room, the place you'll be living for the next little while. I'm not really at liberty to explain the specifics right now, but it concerns the safety of the both of you. Excuse me. Yeah, it all seemed very important. We discussed it over a little dinner. Without me? Damn, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in like 12 hours. Meaning we're almost out of time to dilly-dally. But the good news is that the hotel is within walking distance, so just follow me and you'll be safe in no time. Safe and luxurious. It's a little worrisome that both Keela and Rook are so calm under the circumstances. If this is a matter of safety, it means our safety is at risk. If we were to stay out there any longer. Wow, what is wrong with me? But perhaps Rook is just worded it incorrectly. He didn't have a penchant for saying the wrong thing. Oh, God. He starts to lead us down the streets, and I hope that it isn't too much farther. Some rest would be nice. In fact, it wasn't that far at all, but it was definitely huge. Well, this is it. I hope you enjoy your stay. Your room is 22B, and here are your keycards. It shouldn't be too hard to find. He hands us both our keycards. Wow, this place is massive. What kind of amenities does it have? Well, you'll each have your own beds, a hot tub, a bath, a shower, a masseuse. A personal masseuse? Wow, I could sure go for a massage right about now. That's so cool. I wonder who else is staying here. If this is the hotel where contest winners stay, I wonder if there are any other celebrities here on vacation or something cool like that. Other celebrities? Oh, look at that. I'm already getting full of myself. I hope you two enjoy it. I think it costs us around $1 million to have you here the whole time. That's ridiculous. Thanks for leading us here at least. Do you have any further instructions? Be up at 9 a.m. sharp. Either myself or someone else will be coming to get you. You'll meet some more people behind Clay's life. Get to wander around backstage a little bit. And eat. Eat? Yes, finally. I hunger. That's all I wanted to hear. Keela excitedly runs to the hotel room, and I decide to give chase. I wouldn't want to get lost. It doesn't take us that long to find our hotel room, but when we do, we are stunned. Doing much better than I did the first time I read this. It looks amazing on the inside. Dude, Dude, it's amazing in here. It's everything you'd think your head if someone said fancy Japanese hotel. It was even has a kotatsu. Now that's not that it's cold or anything, but it's nice to know we're equipped for it at all. One of those things I'm pretty sure is it's a table with a blanket that stretches out underneath it, and there's a heater on the inside of it. And basically you stick your legs underneath it, that way you can eat while you stay warm and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's crazy to think that you would have a heater underneath a table and a blanket where it could catch on fire, but I'm sure they figured out a way to make them safer or whatnot, but it's still kind of a cool little concept. I just can't get over how great this place is. Top tier. Let's turn on the TV and see what's happening. I love weird Japanese shows and stuff like that. He scurries over to the table and grabs the TV remote. It looks like he's not sure what the buttons say. It must be in Japanese. He finds the big red button and presses that one. He sits down on the floor and motions for me to come sit beside him. I do just that. It seems like there's a big news report going on about the midnight deaths. Wait, another victim? A news reporter appears on the screen. He seems distraught, maybe even scared. Hi. Sorry for this interruption of your previous program. We'll resume right after a brief news report. It seems that another victim of the midnight deaths has turned up in the streets. Sorry, give me a moment here. It seems like he's having a really hard time reporting this incident. Did he know the victim or something? I've never seen a reporter act this way before. What's going on? His odd demeanor made sense quite quickly, however. So sorry. I've been ordered to make this quick, but reports were coming in, and we're just now receiving confirmation that... Oh no. The latest victim of the midnight deaths. It's recently in Japan for the debut of his world tour. The pop idol, Clace. What? That can't be! No! That's not true! That's impossible! A wave of silence overtakes the room, and perhaps a wave of disbelief with it. What would happen to the tour? What would happen to us? Clace's family, Inumi. How would this affect everyone around him? And that was the first chapter for Major Minor. It's an episodic choice, like I already said. Alternate your choices. Track time around. You let Rook know you might be late to the station. You chose not to break the NDA and remain secretive. You ended up going to Arcadia. You chose to give the stuffed toy to Rook. The time did not come to give it to him yet, however. You spent some alone time with Jade. Rook and Keela got along in the end due to your choices. You triggered one true ending flag thus far. As you can see, there is a lot to keep track of. Every choice is a consequence that will be realized. You will be able to continue the next chapter from any save point you have generated during Chapter 1. You will be delivered via an update to the game on Steam. One chapter will be released each month. Please speak out in the community, all that stuff. In the next build, you will learn about Clace's fate, along with more about the Midnight Deaths. You will also explore the second world, Terra. Think carefully before you make your next choices. Go forward. The fate of two worlds is in the balance. So yeah, that was Chapter 1 of Major Minor. I know this is a really long video, especially with the thing that I have at the beginning of it, but I wanted to say this, and I wanted to do a video on this. I don't care if people hate this video. I don't care if I lose subscribers. I don't care. This game does not deserve the bad rap that it's getting from all of these people that just don't look at the game and actually read the game and take the game for what it is. It's an indie visual novel, people. It's not gonna be perfect, but I think it's well done. I like the theory behind the whole quantum theory aspect and the multiple universes and everything. I think it's cool because it doesn't take itself seriously in the sense that they're anthropomorphic people. They don't come into that really at all. It's all about being like an alternate universe. And they even say, hey, maybe there's an alternate universe where we aren't like this. Maybe we're regular people. Even though they don't know that, but maybe they're like us. So that's what I like about it. It's got cool music. I don't mind the writing at all. It's much easier to read. And if you seriously sit down and think about it, this is how you would actually be saying it if you were like there and if you were talking in the situation. Not like, oh, it's terrible writing. No, it's not like ridiculous. You're not reading Game of Thrones, okay? Like, it's easier to read, and it's easy to read because it's like you were standing there saying it out loud, talking like I'm talking to you guys right now, and that's what I like about it. I like the art style. It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. I'm looking forward to playing Chapter 2. If you guys, for some crazy reason, want me to read Chapter 2 when it comes out, I can. I don't know when it's coming out. It's supposed to come out sometime this month. I'm looking forward to playing it, but again, to anybody that happens to be a subscriber and you can't stand the fact that I did this, I'm sorry, but I thought that this game deserves a chance. I thought this game deserves somebody to play it and let people know that it's not what all of those other bad critics are saying. It's not a bad game in any way, shape, or form. Some people might not think it's worth $10. I personally don't mind it because I like visual novels a lot, and I have a lot of them. I still have a ton of them that I haven't read, and I don't mind paying the money for it. So if you guys want to stick around and want me to read more of it, I can absolutely do that when the next chapters come out. But I highly recommend playing it yourself if you're up for it. Or what I would recommend doing is wait a little while. Wait for a couple chapters to come out and then buy it. That way you can make more choices instead of just what chapter 1 has. So anyway, that's all the time I got for you today, guys. I'm sorry to anybody that hates this video. Again, I don't care if I lose subscribers. I don't care if this video gets a bunch of dislikes. I really don't. This game deserves a chance, and I think that people should not look at it at face value and actually pay attention to the story. It's not bad, in my opinion. So anyway, if you guys want to check this game out for yourself, there's a link to the game in the description below. I highly recommend it, guys. It's not bad. Yes, it's got anthropomorphic people, but don't take it at face value. Read it as if, like, you know, they're humans. You know, not all furries, or it's not all sex and all that stuff. People always think it's weird. You know, just don't take it at face value. It's a good game. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check out some of the other videos that I've done, and I will see you guys next time. Maniacs out. Oof, what? I didn't want the lines to pile up more than they already have. And there is Misty. Ira's mind slips through the years, escaping time, caught up in the void.